In our second exercise, we're going to once again consider a right triangle. And we'll do that so that we'll be ready once we will face, let's say, a location problem for our warehouses. And we also we'll solve the problem in a more cunning way. Looking at the previous worksheet, we see that it was rather confusing, all those C7s, C8s, C9s, and so forth. And now we're going to use names. So instead of writing A times, instead of writing C5 times C6, we would like to use names. A times B, like we naturally think of this right triangle. So let's click inside the A cell, which is in B5. Let's just once click there and click and drag until we have all these 17 cells activated. And now the thing to remember is to click Formulas and Create from Selection. This is going to read through all the things we have selected, and it's going to actually look where could the names be and where to apply them subsequently. So here it is. It thinks that the names are in the left column, which is correct, and now we're going to click OK, so that the names are taken from the left column and given to the cells that are on the right column. So for instance, when we were before in this cell, we could see on the upper left corner that this cell is C4. And of course the next cell is C5, but now it's also called A. So we can use this name. Our first problem is going to be the calculation. This is once again a right triangle. One side is 6, the other side is 7, and we want to calculate the hypotenuse. One leg is 6, one leg is 7, and the hypotenuse has to be calculated. So we're going to go to that formula and write equals SQRT, once more square root followed by a parenthesis. And now instead of writing C5 to the power of 2 plus C6 to the power of 2, we write A now to the power of 2, Alt down, Alt is left from the space, down, and now 94 from the right side of the keyboard. Now we can release Alt and we have this roof figure, which is for to the power of, and now power of 2 means that we have to type number 2 there as well. Plus B to the power of 2, and we will close the parenthesis and we can click on Enter. And here it is, A squared plus B squared. We have the hypotenuse at 9.22 centimeters. And the next thing we want to calculate is the area of that right triangle. So if the sides are 6 and 7, we basically just calculate 6 times 7, and we get what would have been a rectangle. And then we take half of the area of that rectangle. So the right triangle is exactly half of that rectangle that would have been formed by A and B. So here it is, A times B divided by 2. So we'll write equals A times B divided by 2. And the area of that triangle is 21 square centimeters. Next thing, we want to know what's the boundary line. So we want to write P is equals A plus B plus C. So the three sides have to be added up. And now we see something being strange. Now C is actually not a name as we thought it would be after we had it named to our best knowledge. Instead, it should be, the name is C underline. The reason for that is that names C and also name R, which we will also have in this exercise. Names C and R are for Excel's internal use. Whenever you select a block of cells, give a command formulas create from selection and expect it to give a name C. It will actually give a name C underlined. Just a little technicality. But that's not something too hard to figure out. And we have the length of the boundary line at 22,22 centimeters. Now the next thing is here. It's called the incircle for the right triangle. The circle drawn within. And for the right triangle there is a very strict formula. We have to take 2 times the area and divide it by the boundary line. This is proven in math, so we are just going to apply this formula. Once again, math is not our focus here, so it's equals 2 times S divided by P, 2 times the area divided by the boundary line's length, and enter. This is 1,89. And when we go back to that formula, we see that actually the capital and upper and lower case letters don't matter. It will do all of that automatically. And the result is 1,89. Now to the last formula. We are going to consider a area for that incircle for the right triangle, and area is a simple formula. It's P times radius squared, but we have to figure out how to get the exact value for P. P is 3.14, so here it is, 3.14, and sorry for that, we'll see what happened here just later. So P is 3.14, and we're gonna write equals Pi parenthesis begin parenthesis end. Thus we're using a function in order to calculate P, and P is always the same. It's always 3.145,159, and thus we can use such a function which doesn't have anything in its parentheses like sum or sqrt did, because P is always the same. And now we write times. The pro is here that we get a very exact value for P. It's not just 3.14. It has those comma places, and now decimal places. And now we have to multiply it with R, and remember R had an underline attached to it, so it's times R underline. And now we have to say to the power of 2, so we click on 94, and now put the power 2 in place. So really the formula was already more complex. It's P with parentheses after it because of the function, then R with an underscore, and then to the power of 2, which was a separate doing of its own. But of course we can see that this now is much more readable. Here really the in radius is 2 times S divided by P, and we see already looking at the formula what's going on, as opposed to the last exercise where we had those confusing addresses all over the place. One further point to make here is that Excel workbooks or Excel files can often be strongly empowered by additional components added to it. So for instance, here we have also in this Excel file we have a Visual Basic for Applications program that is running. So for instance, if I'm going to go to that triangle, say that one of its sides is 66, then the program here automatically redraws the triangle so that it's absolutely correct. I can actually even zoom in and out just to show that this triangle has really been drawn so that if we have a zoom factor of 100%, so if down here we have a zoom factor of 100%, this triangle would really be 66 centimeters long. And this program works just nicely, redrawing everything as needed. Often Microsoft Excel warns you if some such program has been embedded into Microsoft Excel file. So in that case, you would have to see whether you trust the file you're using, because if it's some kind of a virus, it can do some damage. But in case of this courses files, you can just click enable content if Excel asks something like this from you.